Good morning and welcome to the State of the Chamber Address. So on behalf of my fellow board members here at the African American Chamber of Commerce, our chair, the Honorable Tiffany Moore Russell, and our president, Mr. John F. Davis, we are delighted to have you here as we celebrate, I think it's our third, right? Our second State of the Chamber Address under our new leadership. My name is Maritza Martinez with the University of Central Florida. I am in the Office of Community Relations and delighted to be here this morning. We are delighted to share with you our blueprint, our footprint, and our commitment, which is the theme for this year's State of the Chamber Address and for all the activities that we will be executing. And of course, no self-respecting event would be complete without its own hashtag. So I am asking that if you're going to be posting pictures that are around our event today, please use our hashtag. Is it up there somewhere? If not, I'll share it with you. It is hashtag CentralFL SOTC for State of the Chamber. So hashtag CentralFL S as in Sam OTC. And of course, in the interest of innovating and supporting innovation, our event today is being streamed live, and it'll also be available on all of our social media platforms for your viewing pleasure and sharing pleasure later on today as well. It is my hope that we look as stunning as we look live on the live stream as well. Please stand and help me welcome Dr. Larry Mills of Mount Sinai, who will deliver our invocation. Dr. Mills.
You're standing not to recognize me, but to say the Pledge of Allegiance after I'm done, so we're clear. That's why. Father in heaven, we humbly bow before you now, thankful to you for just another opportunity, another chance to seek your guidance and to thank you for what you've already done and for what we recognize and appreciate. We're here on this morning to invoke your presence, to lead us, oh God, in vision, to lead us in execution, to give us strength and courage, to change that which needs to be, and to make sure that we're walking, discerning your will. And so on behalf of all who are here, this board of directors and this leader and this chairman, we seek your guidance and your hand upon them. It is said in your word that people perish for lack of knowledge and lack of vision. And so we pray today that you give us insight into the vision, that we may recognize what is good, perfect, and acceptable in thy sight. And then, oh God, we pray for the mission of this organization. And we understand that when we walk worthy of your will, that you enlarge our territory. And so, Lord, as they seek visions of enlargement into other counties, into other areas, I pray that we do so in accord with your will. We want to be lockstep with you. And so, Lord, I pray that you lay your hands upon the leadership. I thank you for the constituency and pray, oh God, that whatever we do in word or deed, that you receive glory, you receive praise, and the chamber is elevated to highlight the effectiveness of those who know the Lord. We ask that you hear us now. In the name of Jesus we pray, and for his name's sake, amen.
Thank you, Dr. Mills. And now if you would please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. We would like to take an opportunity to recognize the elected officials in the audience. I know I saw at least 3. If you could please stand and be recognized collectively. Sheriff Dummings, Joseph, and I think Cindy Brown is in the audience as well. Have I missed anyone? Please join me in thanking them for supporting our event this morning. And events like this one would definitely not be possible without the support of our sponsors. It is our distinct privilege this morning to be supported by a small local business here, chamber member. The special gratitude goes to the presenting business sponsor, Prime Electric. Prime Electric Services is a full-service electrical contractor headquartered right here in Orlando and operating in the southeastern United States. Thank you, Prime Electric, for your continued commitment to our community and to our organization. And now please help me welcome the woman in charge, our board chair, the Honorable Tiffany Moore Russell.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, Maritza, for that warm welcome and introduction. As you all know, being the chair means one thing, but having a good staff is another, because that's who's going to really move the organization forward. And so I am here today. It has been a pleasure to serve as the chair of the African American Chamber, but it's also been a pleasure to serve with some outstanding board members. I have served on the chamber for numerous years, and I will tell you this year has been such a pleasure because several of our committees have actually functioned and board members have been very active in moving in their role and their capacity, because that's what makes a chamber really work. And so I would like at this time to acknowledge our board members, and I'm going to call their name because God forbid if I forget somebody, they'll never be able to come to another meeting again and I'll be in trouble. Our board chair-elect is John Beecham. I don't know if he's here, if he's joined us yet. Dr. Reginald Riley is our vice chair. Bernice Atkins Bradley, who many of you know is our past immediate chair. Ed Parker, our treasurer. I'm just going to say Ms. Joyce O., who all knows, our secretary. Our legal counsel is Ernest Deloach. And then our other board members are Leticia Adams, Michael Arrington, Stephanie Block, Stephen Brooks, Carl Buford, Al Collier, Tony Coley, Latria Leak, Maritza Martinez, Don Miller, Kendall Moore, Ron Oates, I did see Ron, Zeta Staglish-Ross, I see Zeta, yes. Sybil Pritchard, Scott Skadelski, Mercia Smith, Michelle Tatum, John Wilson, and Paul White. We can all give them a round of applause. The strides we make as an organization would not be possible without the support of our members, corporate partners, and trustees. Our trustees in particular have made a significant commitment. Please join me in recognizing some of our trustee partners: Universal Studios, OUC, Florida Hospital, and JP Morgan Chase. Let's give them a round of applause. And of course, we would not be here without our founding trustees, and those are DeVry University, Orlando Health, the Orlando Magic, and Walt Disney World Resorts. If there's a representative, you can please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. These organizations have been a huge dedication and support to the Chamber's success in past and the current years. But now I want to introduce someone to you who takes the direction of the board, and believe me, we have very diverse personalities, so he gets a round of applause just for that. I always tell people Bernice did an excellent job of transitioning this chamber and really moving us to a new next level, and we were missing one piece, and that was our president, our executive director, whatever you want to call him. Some of us just call him JD. This person has come onto the organization to help us realign and redefine the chamber and move us forward as an organization. He is profound, and he has paved the way for this chamber to be visible and to continue to grow. So at this time, I bring to the podium Mr. John Davis.
Good morning. First, I'd just like to give thanks to my Lord Jesus Christ, my Savior, for the opportunity that He has given me throughout my life. I would not be here if it were not for Him, and I want to thank my beautiful, lovely wife, Felicia, for joining us this morning as well. And without a doubt, I mean, as all the men in here know, it is very important to make sure that we have someone that's strong in our corner. And if you're a married man, and typically speaking, we all know the work that we do and the things we do is because of our wives. So I want to just thank my wife as well. With that being said, it's been about 1.5 years that I've been in this role, in this capacity here, and I would not change it for anything. Today, this morning, is gonna give me an opportunity to be able to have a conversation with you all about the work that we've done and the work that we still have to do here at the Chamber, and I'm extremely excited about it. Now, this morning, as was noted, as Maritza noted, we are live streaming. Typically, I like to walk around, so you all just bear with me that I'm gonna have to stand here at the podium for those who are not here and were able to join us this morning, and get a chance to see the work that we've done over the past year, and to also see the work that we plan to do and the things that we put in place and the pieces that we put in place to be able to sustain this chamber. So with that being said, we're going to get going here, in which I want to talk to you all this morning about understanding our blueprint, our footprint, and our commitment. But as we look forward to talking about our blueprint, our footprint, and commitment, we'll go to the next slide here. Our blueprint here, as you all can see, is our continued path to organizational excellence. And for those who were here last year, had a chance to hear me talk about over the first year, that we're going to focus on organizational excellence. When we think about any organization, doesn't matter whether it's your own business or some Fortune 500 company, it is important to make sure that you have the proper tools that are in place to be able to sustain that business and to be able to do the work that needs to be done. Our footprint. Our footprint is our geographical reach and the potential of membership growth. This morning, you all will get a chance to hear and to understand what our footprint is. There are a lot of individuals who believe that this chamber is an Orlando chamber. But the fact of the matter is there are 6 different counties in which we're responsible for, and I'll be able to talk about those things later. Our commitment. Our commitment is to maintain the pulse of the Central Florida and of Central Florida community, and to identify the opportunities for collaboration, for education, and growth. So we will talk about those things, and I will let you all know what our commitment is here from this chamber, and the importance of making sure that there is a reciprocated commitment from this community as well as the businesses here in Central Florida. Now, I'll just share with you all just a year in review, just some of the things that we've been able to accomplish here. There are quite a few things that we've been able to accomplish, but I just wanted just to highlight just a few accomplishments. And we'll talk about accomplishment by pillars. The work that we do here at the Chamber, and I discussed this last year, and at every event, and anybody that has a chance to come out to the various functions that we have, everything that we do here are based around what we call our 4 pillars. Those are the defining areas that determine the various programs and the work that we need to do here. Our first pillar is advocacy. As you all can see here, we have the definition here, but advocacy is basically the opportunity. Let me get back here at this podium. Advocacy is basically the opportunity for us to be able to represent our businesses, to be able to represent the individuals in our community, as well as our corporate partners and the community at large. When we think about anyone in here that has started a business or owns a business or has the intent to start a business, or even if you think about the big businesses like the CenturyLinks, like the Bright Houses, we talk about the Disneys, they all have a department, generally speaking, that deals with government relations. And those are the individuals that are responsible for making sure that there's proper legislation or rules or regulations that are impactful to those businesses in some way or fashion, that it doesn't prohibit their business from being able to prosper and to grow. With that being said, it is incumbent upon us as a chamber to be representative and work with those organizations, as well as work with our small businesses, to make sure that we create an environment that gives them an opportunity to grow. So advocacy is an area in which we've taken very seriously here at the Chamber. Our governmental relations advocacy team committee, which is chaired by Derek Bruce, who's one of our board members, is extremely busy nowadays. And the work that they're doing is beyond anything imaginable. And I'll talk about those things here shortly. This past year, we were able to have the very first political hobnob. I'm not sure if anyone here had a chance to participate, but I'm sure I do see some faces in here that I know had a chance to be at the political hobnob. It's the first time, is my understanding, that the Chamber has actually had a political hobnob. And of course, we all know it's political season again, so you all can look forward to having a bigger and better political hobnob. And I can assure you, you all will really enjoy the opportunity to be able to come out to engage all the various candidates who are interested in serving this community and serving this state as well as serving us in Congress. So it gives you all, the community, a chance to engage these individuals and to be able to ask questions. And we also make it fun. Like any political hobnob, we have a straw poll. So you get a chance to vote. It's like walking into your precinct to be able to cast your vote. So it's an opportunity to engage and to have a chance to hear what the various candidates are planning to do in their capacity. So you'll get a chance to hear them talk about what their plans may be. And it was something, I mean, we were very excited about this political hobnob, and I tell you, the board of directors, I can't say enough about my board of directors, and I tell you, and our immediate past president, Ms. Vernice Atkins Bradley, and the work that they did to help guide us with this political hobnob. And I tell you, Dr. Riley, I don't know if he's in here, Dr. Reggie Riley and Maritza Martinez, that committee that they serve on, our Programs and Events Committee, is beyond anything imaginable, and I'm grateful to be able to have them heading up those committees to help us be able to do, to serve and to have the various programs that we have. Medicaid coverage. Everyone here knows that was an area, that's something that was a hot issue, and it still is a hot issue. Typically speaking, historically speaking, chambers have not been very active in getting involved in political issues. There's a lot of changes in this landscape. Has really taken on a different look, even from just working with a lot of our trustees, a lot of our corporate partners, in which they are looking to really maximize the opportunities of working with the chamber. So the days of just writing checks and just saying, hey, we support you, we write you a check, and we don't see you anymore, they're stepping up to the plate and saying, listen, we expect to be able to engage you all, and we expect for you all to be able to communicate with you all and to discuss these issues that are relevant and pertinent, not just to these companies, but also its impact on this community. Typically speaking, when you think about the Disneys and the Universals of the world, we all have relatives. If not, we're the ones that actually work there. So there are things that impact not just these organizations and these companies, but also has a direct impact on the businesses and on this community here that we live in. So what we're able to do with our Medicaid coverage gap of addressing that issue is the board of directors decided to come together and believe that this was an issue that was extremely important to this community. And they decided that we would take on the responsibility and the role of creating a proclamation, of letting the governor as well as our elected officials know that this is something that is important to us, and we would like to see you all figure out a way to resolve the coverage gap that currently exists that is impacting this community, and not just this community, but the entire state in general. A chamber partnership, and I just kind of ran all those things together just to talk about the partnerships that we have here and the importance of making sure that we're no longer, one of the things, I'll just back up here, one of the things that I talked about when I got here is, in working with our board of directors, is I wanted to be able to get out and to engage all of our corporate partners and our trustees. Say, no longer do we want you to just give us money. Don't get me wrong now, we do need money. We want you guys to write checks for us. But that's not all we want. We want to be able to get with you, and we want to understand what's important to you. What is the return on investment that exists? Where might there be some synergy for us all to work together? So as we begin to do that, and as we continue to grow and to create an organization here and to get the necessary staff that we need to make sure that we're servicing our members and we're servicing this community, you begin to understand that when you're meeting with the Orlando Magic, the things that are important and relevant to them may be slightly different than it is at Bright House or CenturyLink, or the things that are important, at Disney's. So we're able to create a profile though. Now, so at the end of the year, when we start to send you all these letters that says renewal, and now we can begin to say, okay, what things did we say we wanted to accomplish this year? Were we able to accomplish those things? So now we're able to match up. Now, we're not saying we're going to be able to accomplish everything, but I can assure you it won't be because we're not trying. We can't promise you anything, but I can assure you that we will continue to work with you to do the things that we need to do to make sure that we're able to accomplish the things that are important to you all as well. Our community alliances. We have Dr. Larry Mills here today. Thank you for the invitation as well. I've had a chance to meet with Dr. Mills, and to meet with the clergy, to meet with Bishop Wiggins, to meet with Wesley Harris from UPS, who's the chair of the board, with the Urban League, Cran Riley, and even in speaking with Inez Long over at BBIF. The thing that we believe is extremely important is for us to begin to create alliances. Far too often, we look around this Central Florida and we begin to think about the historical black organizations and the role that we play in this community, and the role and the impact that we have on businesses. And we sit down and we're having a candid conversation about what we need to do. We can't continue to ask for the support of the corporate partners, continue to ask for the support of our members if they don't see us working together. And there's a lot of resources, but at the end of the day, we all serve the same clients. It's the businesses. Whether it's BBIF, whether it's the Urban League, whether it's the Chamber, we're all engaging with the exact same clients. I like to call them clients. We're talking about our members and our family here. So we think it's important for you all to see and to understand that we're working together, and that there needs to be alliances amongst us as we continue to move forward and to maximize the relationships and to maximize the resources that we have here. So those are the things we're talking about as far as our community alliances, of us taking care of our home first and foremost, to make sure that we have our ducks in a row. And of course, we'll begin to create alliances throughout this community and begin to create multi-chamber events and other opportunities that may exist. Access to capital. This is another one of our pillars. We got advocacy, and we have access to capital. Anyone that has even dreamed of having a business or starting a business or work with any company or corporation, access to capital is extremely paramount. Well, when we think about the work that needs to be done, whether you're dealing with equipment, whether you're dealing with just starting the business, it's important to have access to capital. And this is probably one of the probably the number one issue of any individual that I speak with that is interested in starting a business or already has a business. How can I obtain capital? And I will talk about here in a minute. We began to look at access to capital. We're talking about the relationships that we have with banks and other partners, traditional relationships as well as non-traditional relationships. On our board, we have, and in our corporate partnerships, we have J.P. Morgan Chase. J.P. Morgan Chase is one of our trustees. There's opportunity there. Wells Fargo, SunTrust, BB&T Bank. These are all corporate partners and trustees here with the Chamber. So the opportunities are there. We have the relationships. Now, what we're working to do is to make sure that we streamline this process for our members. That's what we're doing here at the Chamber. Where we're working directly, we're taking advantage of our members that we have to be able to work with them and say, hey, listen, every day we have someone that's walking in this office needing capital. Traditionally, this is one method of being able to obtain capital. Non-traditional methods may be, when we're looking at the BB&T, sorry, take that back, BBIF, the Better Business Investment Fund, which is another one of our partners here. It's another opportunity, depending on certain criteria that, like any organization, which you have to meet to be able to obtain capital. So we're working, I've had a chance to meet with Ms. Long a couple of times, and we're working on creating opportunities and avenues in which to make sure that the individuals that we're meeting with and our members understand and know that BBIF does exist, and there's opportunity there for them to be able to obtain funding as well. And there are also credit unions, whatever it may be, whatever methods that may exist, we want to make sure that we provide those avenues for our members. And we're talking about venture capitalists, we're talking about angel capital. Those are areas in which most businesses generally don't have a clue of exactly what it is. I'm fortunate enough to serve on the board of directors with the Orlando Chamber. And one of the things that I've been able to do is to engage and to interact with Jose and Jacob Stewart and those guys, where they're bringing in individuals that are typically aren't individuals that we get a chance to engage with here in this community. So we're looking at ways in which we're going to create these cheat sheets or these one-pagers to be able to give to our members for opportunities. If the business is something that they deem necessary, that they're willing to invest in, it's another way of being able to obtain funding. And of course, many of us today have heard about crowdfunding. When you think about what happened in Ferguson, and the businesses that were burned and that were destroyed, there were some individuals who took to social media to create crowdfunding accounts and were able to obtain the resources to be able to rebuild their businesses. Is just such a vast array of opportunities that exist, and it's up to the chamber, and that's one of the roles that we play of being that conduit to be able to assist our members. SBA partnership we have here. We have small business funds, in which will be another entity in which we work with. Axion, here, being at the NEC, not sure if many of you all, and I know there are some here, that do understand that the National Entrepreneur Center here, that we all are under an umbrella where we have the various chambers here and we have various resource partners. And I'll talk about the importance of that as well. Contracting. Now, one thing that we know is we have a lot of businesses, black businesses, that are part of the construction industry. And with that being said, it's an area that has been extremely important to make sure that we're working with the powers to be, and we're working with the corporations and the organizations that would create an opportunity for our members to be able to obtain various contracts. That's what we do. We're working with our board of directors, and I tell you, Madam Chair, Clerk, the Honorable, we're doing the work, under her leadership, and working with our past chair, as well as many other board members, to make sure that we have the tools that are in place to assist our businesses here. And that's very important to us. Some of the things that are happening, we got the Ultimate I-4 project. Many of us get a chance to run up and down I-4. I try my best to avoid it. But the fact is, when that project was started, we were at the table. We had an opportunity to be able to do what we call a how to do business, where they came here to engage, to interact with our members, to talk about how you're able to get a contract on this project. And those are the things that we're able to provide and we think are very important. Orange County Public School, another partner. There's a lot of construction, a lot of opportunities that exist with them. And we're also stepping it up, where we've had members who've been able to not just get construction contracts, but also now professional services. So we're excited about the relationship that we have with Orange County Public School. Orlando Health. Orlando Health is one of our founding trustees. And I tell you, I am excited about the supplier diversity initiative in which we have with them, in which we've worked, in which they have provided extra resources to create like a scholarship programs for businesses that may not have the proper certifications to be able to do business with them. They're outlining, these are the criteria to do business with us. You may have a certification through the city, which is great, but to do business with us, here are some extra things that you need to have. And we're willing to invest in your business to be able to help you get that certification. So we're excited about that. We're excited about working with Wyndham worldwide and looking at the supplier diversity program that they have. The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I tell you, they're all here. They're right here, one of my resource partners as well. And having a chance to work with Deanna and to look at some of the things that they've already have in place and working with their supplier diversity program, I'm excited. And you all are going to see some things that we're going to be rolling out here within the next 3 to 4 months. Entrepreneur training. This is the last of our 4 pillars. The entrepreneur training is extremely important, and it's an area that we know that we continue to refine and to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to provide our entrepreneurs the tools that they need. We have workshops. We have seminars. we have a chance to engage our members, and we'll be working to do these things, to better do these things through surveys, to understand what it is that you all need. We all believe we have an idea what it is that you need historically based upon various trends and based upon feedback that we get from you. But the more feedback that we're able to obtain, the better we're prepared to make sure that you have the tools, the training, and the resources that you all need to be the very best that you can be in your business. During our entrepreneur training, and much of what we do takes place through what we call our boot camps. Through our counseling sessions and feedback, as I mentioned, this is a way in which helps us determine the various, of being able to identify individuals to bring in to assist our members. EAF. EAF is the Employer Association Forum. It's one of our partners here at the Chamber. They provide services. They're like an HR for small businesses. Everybody can't be like Disney, have an entire HR department in which you're able to provide the tools and the resources that's needed. So with that, even the Chamber, we don't have an HR department. So we're able to utilize this resource partner to help us understand the things that we need to do, some things that we take for granted when we have a small business, of hiring. When you think about the do's and the don'ts in corporate America, when you're working at a large company, Fortune 1000, Fortune 500, there are certain questions that you just can't ask. We take those things for granted with our everyday business and our small business that we have. EAF is a tool to be able to assist you, to let you know you cannot ask that person if whether or not they have 3 kids, and if you have 3 kids and I'm not sure if this is going to work for you. You just can't say certain things. So those are the things that EAF is able to provide, and we have a workshop here in which we invite any and all of our members, as well as non-members, to be able to come and to see and understand the resources and the things that we have to offer. We've had our intellectual properties, profit and loss. Profit and loss. It's so funny, I remember my buddy and I from college, we started our first business. We're excited. Down in Davie, pro-style training. Played football. He was a football player. We just figured, we had a little bit of money, that we could just take money, and we've done this. We can have football camps. We can train folks. We can do a whole bunch of different things. We did not have a coherent business plan. We didn't even understand any of that stuff. We didn't survey the lay of the land. We didn't understand our competitors. We didn't know what the needs were. All we knew is we played football, we were athletes, and y'all want to know why these guys walk around with these 8-packs and they look good and everything, we can help you get there. Only to get started and to realize we did not have the necessary tools that were in place. And we look back now, and we actually had to, I was speaking with him a couple of days ago, and we actually had to chuckle to think about what we didn't know. And if we would have known and understood the world of the Chamber, I can assure you we would definitely have been members of the Chamber to be able to recognize that we needed a business plan. And we needed to have everything laid out as we move forward. And we also would have recognized that just because we had an idea, that it may not have been the right time at that particular time to act upon it, that we needed to do more research. But I always encourage any and everybody to look at the land of being an entrepreneur. Brand awareness. Website ongoing enhancement, and as you all recognize here today, we're live streaming. I'm not sure if the Chamber has ever had a live stream before, but I am starting to feel like the president now a little bit. And we're very grateful. And we talk about innovation and we talk about technology. It's something that is near and dear to me. I want to make sure that we do all the things that are necessary to create opportunity and to be as efficient as we could possibly be. And I'm very grateful that you all are working with us and being patient as we are working to make sure that this organization is prepared for the 22nd century. Brand awareness. As you all can see here, we have our proud members and a new design that you're going to be seeing with our folders. This is already in the process of being completed. We have our new members packet. We have our new members checklist. Now, with our new members checklist, we don't, again, to our members, it's important. We want you all to be members of this chamber. But becoming a member is important for you all to understand the tools that we have, and our member checklist that you all will get will help guide you through our tutorial in dealing with what we'll call our chamber master, one I'll talk about here in a minute. Our lapel pin, as you all can see, it doesn't matter where I go. Everybody's always asking me about this lapel pin. And a lot of folks, I tell you, I had to do my research and to really keep reading and to understand a Dinkra symbol. It's an African symbol. It's the base of Saka. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little smart here. But it symbolized, back in West Africa back in days, it was a symbol of commerce that symbolizes affluence, symbolized trade and wealth. As we roll through here, our membership cards, Reward Me, affinity program. One of the things that we're doing, and we think is very important, is to work with our partners, not just our corporate partners, but also our small businesses. We want everyone to understand that membership has its rewards. So if you have a business, we want you to be able to take advantage of our affinity program, where you can offer a discount or some type of opportunity or affinity for other members. So I know, Office Depot has been one of our big members for quite a long time, and I don't have my Office Depot card on me right now, but if you're a member, and that's a part of what you will be receiving as a member of the chamber. So as we work with other organizations, we want to be able to provide those discounts and to be able to show value of being a member of the chamber. Our ambassador program. Now, our ambassador program, the growth, when I got here, I remember having a meeting with a couple of the ambassadors, and I tell you, I'll say it, I won't call any names, but it was a scolding. They gave us a scolding. They gave me a scolding as to things that we needed to do, things that were not working. And I'm all ears. I'm all about listening and taking those things in to be able to get back with my board of directors and to talk about the things that we need to do here and as we continue to move this chamber forward. I've said this before at a multi-chamber event. I will put my ambassadors, our ambassadors, the chamber's ambassadors, the board of directors ambassadors, our members' ambassadors up against any ambassadors here in Central Florida. They work their butts off, and they are a true extension of this chamber and of this team, and I'm very grateful to have them here. And when I look back, there were 4 ambassadors when I got here, and we currently have 16 ambassadors. Now, if y'all look around the room, you get a chance to see these lovely, sharp-dressed individuals. They are the ones that make this possible, and I'm very grateful, and thank you all. As we move forward, and I'm going to be quickly here. I know I've probably been about 40 minutes, and I said I was going to try to keep it to about 35. The future, our next exit. We'll go back here. Marcus Garvey said, "A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." And we're talking about that roots. We're talking about the foundation on where we are here today. And that's where we're talking about understanding our blueprint, our footprint, and our commitment. We're driven by creativity, and I always, and my team here will know, I always welcome input. And I'm all about being cutting edge, out of the box, thinking, and providing the understanding the necessary tools and the techniques and the programs and the processes that we need to be the very best. Welcome to our blueprint. Man, I really want to walk from behind the stage. Our strategic plan. That's something that I talked about that we would have in place at our last State of the Chamber. Well, I'd like to let you all know, currently, we have our strategic plan. We have it. There's some fine-tuning that's been done, but here's what you will be able to see. Our strategic plan will be posted on our website. You will be able to visit our website and to understand over the next 3 years what the role and the protocol and what the expectations and what we plan to do here at this chamber. I think is vitally important for us to know where we're going. I've always said, and the team will tell you, I talk about it often. If it's not on paper, it didn't happen. So I truly believe we've got to put any and everything that we plan to do on paper. If we don't, we would be at the mercy of the current president. You would be at the mercy of your current board. And that's why I'm excited, and I know Madam Chair talked about the work that this board is doing, the committees that are in place, and the work that we've been able to do in the past under Madam immediate past Chair Vernice Atkins Bradley, and we're just excited about where we are today. So our strategic plan will be, of course, we'll be breaking it down internally to make sure that we're able to accomplish the work and the things that we need here. And yes, our strategic plan, we're working on it with one of our members, and we're excited. Ms. Jill, I'll call her out here. She's unbelievable, and we're excited about the work that we're doing here with her and the strategic sessions that we're having. Our playbook to create a turnkey organizations. I know my wife had mentioned to me, God, you always say turnkey organization. The fact is extremely important. We think about any Fortune 500, any Fortune 1000 company, they are turnkey organizations. As I said before, this chamber is bigger than John Davis. It's bigger than Ed Parker. It's bigger than any of our board members, and it's bigger than just our members. This organization is important to this community, and it's very viable to all of the businesses here in Central Florida. So it is incumbent upon me, if there is nothing else that I'm able to accomplish, is to make sure that we create a turnkey organization that when I leave, when these board member leaves in the next 20 years, and myself, I'm going in the next 20, 30 years, that the next president is able to just walk in and to be able to just have things laid out to him on a platter. And a part of what we've been able to do, internal procedure manuals. This thing is pretty thick right now, and we're not done. This procedural manual outlines every single thing and all the work to be done here at this chamber. If we receive mail here at this chamber, this document says the mail is received here. You go, you walk, you pick up the mail, you walk back to your desk, you stamp the mail, and once you do that, you open it, and then you read it, and you get it to the appropriate individual. Those are the things that we think are necessary, so there are no excuses. There are no excuses for myself, no excuses for the staff and the team that's here to be able to say we didn't know. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to create the proper and the correct process and the procedures and putting those things in place. Because if you all, as our partners, as our trustees, are going to invest in us, it's incumbent upon me, and they hold me accountable to make sure that we can justify and show the work that we're doing and that we're able to do those things as we move forward. A research and implementation chamber of best practices. I'm a outcomes-driven guy. I'm all about measurables. Best practices, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. There are a lot of successful organizations here, and I speak all the time, and I know they kind of get, they think I say a lot about the Hispanic Chamber. But we all know they have a blueprint for success. And I'm grateful to have a chance to be able to work with Deanna and to be able to work with her team in being here, to be able to look at some of the things that they're doing in which are in line with the success that we're trying to obtain here for our members. Best practices are extremely important in working with Stina and working with other chambers, looking at the big chamber, looking at different organizations, and just taking bits and pieces from everyone to be able to assist us and to make sure that we're doing things that are germane and very important to this community and to our members. Achieving organization excellence through innovation. Here we are. We're live streaming. Here we are, Chamber Master. If you haven't had a chance to actually go in and understand Chamber Master, it's the system that we have in place. In past histories or in past times, our process in which we would obtain members may have been a tad bit complicated or antiquated somewhat. So what did we do? In working with our board of directors and Universal Studios, we want to thank them because they sponsor us getting Chamber Master up. 100% of taking care of all the costs associated with that. And it's a tool that is beyond anything imaginable. And we're going to make sure that our members get the tutorial, get the information that's necessary so they can take advantage of Chamber Master to be able to go in on the back door, to be able to post job postings, to be able to look at ways in which you want to let folks know that there are opportunities that may exist with your business and your company as well. Automated welcome calls. We're going to be looking at our Chamber mobile application. Those are things in which I want to get done, and sometimes the folks have to tell me to slow down. I'm probably, one of the things I've always said, I remember an individual asked me when I was in an interview, when I sold medical devices, said, what do you think one of your weaknesses is? I know one of my weaknesses is that I'm probably tougher on myself than anybody could ever imagine. I want to be the absolute best. I may not talk about it all the time, except to my wife, but the fact is, I want to be the absolute best at any and everything that I get involved in. And sometimes I want it now. So in understanding and being here, that the wheel doesn't quite turn as fast as I want, but I think with the support that I have here, a mobile application is definitely something that we want to look at doing, as well as having a TV station. We're looking to be innovative here and being able to maximize every opportunity and the resources that we have. Our footprint, and we talked about earlier in working with our footprint. Our geographical reach extends across 6 counties: Brevard, Lake, Orange, Osceola, Seminole, and Volusia County. Now, most individuals did not have a clue that that was the case. As I mentioned earlier, because we're stationed here in Orange County, most folks believe that we are an Orange County chamber. But the fact is, and I'm so excited, and just, I know Paul White, who's headed up our nominating committee, and the conversations that we've had and the work that this board is doing now to make sure that we begin to venture into these counties. I've had a chance to do some work with Seminole County and working with the chambers there, as well as working with the leaders there at the various organizations that are there with the city manager, the chief of police. So there are a lot of things that we're working with in which we created an alliance called LEAD, in which leaders are working together, and we're working with the Urban League is also a part of that. So we can begin to do some things there in Seminole County. And a focus being on Sanford, in which we're wanting to do and to understand some work and some things that we can do as organizations to be able to work with the businesses as well as the youth there in Sanford. The other thing that we've been able to do is we just recently appointed a gentleman from Brevard County, Mr. Kendall Moore, is now a member of our board. And we think it's important to as we venture into the other counties and to work with other chambers as well as organizations. Now, we're going to move on to our commitment. Now, with the commitment, as I've stated earlier, our commitment is to maintain the pulse of Central Florida and to identify opportunities for collaboration, education, growth, and innovation. Our commitment is evident in all that we have done and we continue to do. As long as we are working and adhering to our 4 pillars to provide the quality programs and events that are needed here. Leadership Academy. I talked about this also during the last State of the Chamber. Well, I'm pleased to say that the paperwork has been submitted for us to be able to obtain our 501c3 to the individual that is actually putting this 501c3 together to be filed with the state as well as to be filed with the federal government. Now, what this is going to do is allow us, when we begin to think about how I grew up, and I know we've all had many of us have had conversation, and to think about, being a little poor boy from Pahokee, Florida, and growing up there in Pahokee, Florida, and had a chance to go off to school at the greatest university known to mankind, the Florida State University. And I was wow. I was just in awe. I could not believe where I was. But the fact is, being from Pahokee, I wouldn't exchange that experience of growing up with the family there, the love that was on display. But there was so much that we just didn't know, and I was unlearned. I had never been exposed to so many different things. And to come out of there and to think how many of our kids that we have in the various communities, especially here in our black community, that they're not dumb, they're not stupid, they just haven't been exposed. And we begin to think about those things, and a lot of folks take it for granted. They take it for granted because you just assume that this should be the case. With this Leadership Academy, and we've already begun to do this, is to be able to have, from the age of 7 to 10, not that we exclude anybody, or 7 to 18, not that we exclude anybody, but what we want to do is to give them an opportunity to be able to experience and to be introduced to various opportunities, whether it's something as simple as having them visit Universal and get a chance just to kind of do a walkthrough and see what it's like behind the scenes. We have our local entrepreneur advancement program called LEAP. This is paramount, is pretty much similar to, many of you all probably heard of Shark Tank, as well as business plan competition. Our live pitch competition is what we're going to have. Coaching, training, and development. And those are going to be the caveats that are going to be a little different than how we do it. That we're going to be able to have some follow-through in working with these individuals that are actually the winners, to be able to provide them coaching, training, and development. And entrepreneur advancement grant would be awarded to those individuals. And we will be tracking those individuals to try and understand and see, the measurables there. Our 4 Pillars Entrepreneur Academy will be a part of this, as well as our new Entrepreneur Leadership Academy. Event recap. Our Urban Entrepreneur Roundtable, we were able to have that this year, and we felt we were very pleased with the outcome, and we will be doing that again this year here in 2015, which will be taking place then with Mayor Buddy Dyer there in the chamber. Our 2015 Eagle Awards. I tell you, this is my second one. It was the first one I was able to work on, and we had a lot of fun. I was extremely excited about that being of our signature event. Multi-chamber events. We have various events that we are working with other chambers across Central Florida. Our business night out in Seminole County meet and greet, and as well as our empowerment luncheon in which we're able to do here in June. We've brought back that series of our empowerment luncheon. This year we had Derek Brooks as our keynote speaker, and it was a great event at the Citrus Club. And you all stay tuned. We have quite a few things up our sleeves in which we'll be bringing in some really good motivational speakers. Again, a program lunch, a faith-based initiative. Now, I only got a few minutes here, but we're going to be launching our faith-based initiative here in 2016. When we're talking about our alliance with key individuals and organizations, y'all heard me kind of speak about that earlier in working with Dr. Mills and many other individuals. I think it's so important. I had a chance to visit Bishop Wiggins, Alan Wiggins' church this week, and I'm going to be traveling around. They don't know I'm coming. I just show up with my wife whenever we're not, we try to get to our church, of course, but we just show up. And we have a chance to be able to engage individuals in the community. What you all will also see from us, you're going to see us getting into the community. We want you all to come here. We need you all to come here. We have some beautiful facilities and resources here, but we're going to also be getting into our community. So we get a chance to engage and to interact with the people. And we just think much of the work that we do here is so in line with our faith-based partners. And it's important for us to be able to engage them and to look at ways in which we can maximize the work that we do here to be able to help not just our businesses, but families and our communities at large. Our commitment from you. Now, when we begin to think about the commitment and the work that we do, the programs that we have and that we provide, all because of the commitment that we have from our partners, our corporate partners, and our members to be able to give the resources to this chamber, is important not to just think about, I know I get the question, folks, I've had many times where folks ask, well, what can the chamber do for me? And I've always talked about the programs and the things that we do to be able to help. But I think it's also important when we think about, I think I was having with Deanna, was talking about just a membership. We talk about a gym membership. You know, you can join a gym and pay a lot of money, but you get out of it what you put into it. You cannot join a gym and pay that money, not show up at the gym, and think you're just going to get all sexy and fine and fit. It's just not going to happen. So, and it's the same thing with these chambers. It's important, if you're going to be a part of the chamber, it's important for you to come to be a part of what we're doing here, to better understand what we're able to do for you. And I can assure you that you will be very pleased and excited about what we're able to offer. And with that, I want to leave you with this. Commitment is reciprocal. And as we continue to pledge our commitment to you, we ask for your commitment by demonstrating your support through a membership, a partnership, and participation. Again, many of our members have heard me say it. I don't want you to just join the chamber. I want you to be actively involved and engaged. I want to hear feedback. We're not perfect. We don't know it all. But I think if we're all able to work together, we can better help serve you, and to make sure that we're giving you the tools that you need, and we are able to create a strong, viable conduit, which is this chamber, to be able to assist all. With that being said, I just want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to share with you and to better understand our commitment, our blueprint, our footprint, and our commitment to this community. Thank you.
Thank you, JD, and I'm sure that you will agree with me when I say what an amazing update and what an amazing job that you have done. Please join me again in congratulating JD. And as our president indicated, we need your feedback. We want to make sure, you heard about all the good things that we are doing and we have on deck. And we have a unique opportunity for you this morning to help us inform that path as we move forward. In your programs, there is a survey. It's a great vehicle, a great instrument for you to let us know what is really important to you, what would you like to see more of, less of. So please be sure to complete that before you leave this morning and turn it into one of our ambassadors. There is also a drop box, I understand, by the registration desk. So please be sure to complete that. And I know that we also have another exercise for you today as we conclude our program, and it is the signing of our community creed. And that is taking place actually as soon as we conclude the program, and you can just form a line up here, and maybe somebody should model what it is that we want them to do. Madam Chair, what do you think? Yes. So we will volunteer. Madam Chair has just been voluntold to model what it is that we want to do. You know what? We actually have Miss America, another UCF grad making her alma mater proud. Erica Dunlap is joining us, and we'll have her model what it is that we want our membership to do. And our president has some breaking news.
One other thing that we wanted to do is one of the things that we wanted to do today, typically speaking, when we have various programs and events, we're fortunate and we're grateful for the show of support, the financial support, especially from our corporate partners, who are able, in many instances, to be able to help us and to assist us. Today, this State of the Chamber was sponsored by the small businesses, not our corporate partners, the small businesses. And we're very grateful, and we thank the sponsorship here, but we wanted to give a special thank you and recognition, and we have something here for Mr. Williams here, and we just want to thank Prime Electric for sponsoring this individual as our presenting business sponsor. If y'all don't mind, I just want to give him a minute at least just to say a few words.
Well, I wasn't expecting this to say anything, but thank you very much. I appreciate this, and I graciously accept it. I met JD when he came in the first time, and my question was, what exactly are you going to do? What are you going to give us back here? I mean, tell me how you're going to be different than every other organization that we're required to be affiliated with to get work. And he came through. He did everything he said he would do. I think it's a lot of his football experience, because he made it clear that he is part of a team, and he needs us to be a part of the team. So when the opportunity came, and JD said, I need you to get in the game. You know, I've been suited up and waiting to play for a long time. He said, I need you to get in the game. So I stepped up and do it, and I urge every other small business, get in the game. Don't just sit on the bench. He's a team player. Let's get in the game, and let's play to win. Thank you very much.
We also have our other small businesses that made investments here. Edward Jones Investments. Mr. Ken. We also have Lancaster and Associates Insurance. Parker Realty Group. Small Business Funds. Vantage Point Coaching. And Allstate Insurance. Again, we want to thank them for the commitment of giving back to the Chamber and to making this event possible. Thank you all.
Very nice. So keeping in line with my background, just by virtue of working for a university, you have 2 homework items today, right? Number 1, complete the survey before you leave, right? Everybody, complete the survey. We want to hear from you. And please, as you are making your way out, please sign our commitment form to our organization, to ourselves. What are we willing to bring to the table to make sure that our organization continues to be on the right path? Thank you for joining us this morning. Enjoy the rest of your week, and go Knights.